This story is called The Most Meaningful Call, and it's a true story that actually happened to me. It's also my favorite paranormal story, so I figured it would be perfect for my first video. I hope you guys enjoy it, and don't forget to subscribe. Like every other 13-year-old, I had a lot of questions about life. The scariest of which, and one that still scares me to this day, is what's going to happen after we die. Everyone handles death and the concept of it in different ways, and at the time I decided to look to my religion for answers. My church held an overnight event called a lock-in for kids my age who were about to be confirmed into the Catholic religion. We prayed, we learned about Catholicism, meditated, and did very little sleeping. Not one to normally stay awake for more than even 16 hours. I felt like I had been awake for a week when I finally got home. When I got there, the house was empty and quiet, so I decided to take a nap. My room was in the basement, and it had always freaked me out. I hated going down there alone, so I would bribe my dog with a treat to make her follow me downstairs. When I got there, I put on my pajamas, collapsed on the bed, and started to drift off. Suddenly, the phone started ringing. I walked over to it, hazy and a little annoyed. "Hello?" I said as I put the phone to my ear. Hi, who is this? Said the somewhat familiar female voice on the other end. "This is Jojo," I mumbled, still a little groggy. Oh my goodness, she replied excitedly. I haven't talked to you in so long. Who is this? I asked, starting to get confused. This is Grandma, she replied. At that moment, I suddenly realized why the voice had sounded so familiar. I could almost picture my grandma, sitting on her blue sofa in her cigarette smoke-filled house, her short silver curls resting gently over the phone next to her ear. My heart started pounding, and I couldn't seem to find a way to come up with any words to respond with. I was shaking, and I was starting to feel lightheaded. It felt like I was standing there forever, trying to rationalize what was happening. Before I could rationalize anything, the line got really fuzzy and started to break up. All I could hear was my grandma's voice repeating, "Hello? Hello? Hello?" as it slowly started to fade away. It felt like I was paralyzed. I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. Finally, I grounded myself. I hung up the corded receiver on the wall. I started crying. I grabbed my dog by the collar, afraid that she would run ahead of me. We bolted up the stairs. In that moment, it was like I was in one of those dreams where you can't run, you can't move fast enough. I finally reached the living room and sat down. I picked up the phone and called my mom. As tears were rolling down my face, I told her to get home as fast as she could because Grandma Barb had called me on the phone. Finally, after what seemed like hours had passed, my mom arrived at home. Through tears and gasps, I explained what happened. Empathetic as always, my mom cried with me. We sat there crying, trying to comprehend what just happened, knowing that my Grandma Barb had passed away about 4 years prior to that phone call. I know it was her because it was her voice. And I know it wasn't any other grandmas because none of my grandmas are alive. When I think about why she decided to call me and how, I think the why was because she always worried about her family and would do anything for us. I think she heard my prayers at that church event, and maybe somehow all the praying and meditating gave her the strength to make that phone call. I think she was reaching out to me to ease my worries about death and to let me and my family know that we would see her again someday and that she's always with us.